Hey, Runbo, how are you? Tonight you're Runbo. Last night you were Ron. Make up your mind. Uh-oh. Everything's all screwed up. Yeah. We'll mess with it more tomorrow. Where's Kathy? There she is. I was going to just say, it's like, where's Kathy? She's usually right in the door. Broadcasting live from beautiful downtown Cleveland. It's station WDWL TV, starring the Grumpy Old Man. And we are brought to you by Grumpy Vulture Productions. No bow. Oh, Kathy, the new camera got here today. So I hook it up and I can't get shit adjusted. You know, supposedly it's plug and play. Not. There's a bunch of software, this adjustment, that adjustment. So I went back to the old camera and I couldn't remember what the settings were because this every camera on Prism has a certain aspect ratio. I couldn't figure it out, so everything might look off. The only strange thing is now the mic is still washed out, but we're getting better red and green, and we're also getting the multicolors on the Festivus pole.
But out of that, a new holiday was born. A Festivus for the rest of us.
So tomorrow, I'm going to screw with that camera again, and uh, I plugged it in, and I turned on Prism, and all you could see was my eyes. I was like, holy shit, back that camera out. No matter how I adjusted it, I couldn't get it set right. I should have, I waited till the last frickin' minute. So I unplugged it. I plugged in the old Logitech, and then the screen was about yai by yai. And I went, oh, shit. So I got something close. But I'm too close to the camera. I mean, I should be like back here. So I have to do some more adjusting. Because really I should be like this. Like I was. But I didn't write down any of the numbers for the settings. I guess I lucked out when I, first set Prism up. So everything's all screwed up. Well, join the club, Ron. I'm having equipment trouble. You're having equipment trouble. Okay, what you're going to have to do is gargle Ventura Foods. Ventura. They have a massive recall on salad dressing. And some of them are Hidden Valley. But there's a list. So I don't know what kind of salad dressing you eat, but I would check it. Well, like I said, Ron, I tried the new camera and I couldn't get it set right. And then when I put the old camera back up, I couldn't remember the aspect ratio settings. So things are looking a little strange. Or it could be Prism too. I decided today to read a bunch of news articles. Usually I just scan, read something, that interests me. I like the one news article. The North Chile United Methodist Church in Rochester, New York. The pastor made an announcement to the congregation that she is transgendering. Yeah, she's no longer happy being a she. Even then people wonder why I haven't been to church in 300 years. Jesus. Nothing like sitting in church and having a female pastor and she's like, My name is Philipella, but soon I will just be Phil. Right about that point, I go, that's it, I'm out of here. And did you see the latest about Britney Spears? She's losing her mind again. She was vacationing on some yacht down in Mexico. And I don't know if it was TikTok or Instagram or what. She decides to post a live video of her removing her bikini top in front of the camera. The girl is losing her mind again. You know, what was it? Her father was her conservator, and everybody was like, free Britney, let her be on her own, let her handle her own things. Well, somebody filmed her driving home from a party, drunk on the road. Now she's down in Mexico showing her things I don't want to see. She's losing her marbles. And then, God, did you see that apartment building fire in Manhattan, New York? Holy shit. The whole top of that building was totally, as a matter of fact, they said the roof collapsed into the upper floor apartments. Man, that was an inferno. And some NBA coach's house frickin' burned down in Florida. I was like, holy shit. And then did you see that Alabama A&M football player died from injuries he sustained on the field during the football game on Saturday? They haven't showed what caused the injury, but whatever it was ended up killing him. And then, we can't go a week without a college shooting. Did you see that Kentucky State? One person killed, one critically injured. The shooter was arrested. I'm like, what is. This world is just going to hell in a handbasket. Then shortly before airtime, I was watching all the news stories about that 7.5 magnitude earthquake over in Japan. Holy shit, the buildings were going. Showed people in their apartments holding their TVs to keep them from falling and breaking, and buildings going back and forth and back and forth. I was like, whoa, not somewhere I'd want to live. I'm surprised they haven't had a tsunami. Not that I'd like to see another one of them. God, when that water receded, it was unbelievable. 10 miles inland was a huge freighter in the middle of, in the middle of nowhere. It lifted this freighter and carried it 10 miles inland. That last tsunami they had. Nothing like coming back and going, well, this is my street. Wait a minute. There's a freighter sitting where my house used to be. And Kathy, I got a big hug from my one little cutie when I gave her Christmas present. And I told her, don't put it on a key ring, don't put it in your purse, put it in your pocket where you can get right to it. And she says, oh God, I'm glad you gave me this. She goes, there's a creep that's been hanging around at closing time. I said, well, if he approaches you, give him the juice. And he won't screw with you, believe me. .908 area code? I don't think so. Yeah, she said, you couldn't have given me this at a more appropriate time. I guess when at closing last night, 3 of the girls asked the security guard to walk them to their cars because this idiot has been hanging around where they park their cars. Because employees have to park over behind the gas station building. So I told her, I said, you keep that in your coat pocket. And luckily there was nobody in line behind me. She opened it up and I said, you see that little red lever? I said, all you got to do is move it to the right and push. She said, that's where it'll be, in my coat pocket, with my hand in my pocket. I said, great. So tomorrow morning I have to go because the other cutie works opening tomorrow. Then the cashier next to her went, how come I don't get a Christmas present? I said, because I don't know you. That's why. God, everybody wants a Christmas present. What do I look like, Santa Claus? Now you're Ron. Make up your mind. Yes, I did. At 3 o'clock this morning, And I'll tell you what, after massaging that in, 15 minutes later, pain gone. That stuff is amazing. I did just like the instructions said. I massaged it in, and within 15 minutes, I was able to go back to sleep. That stuff is magic. Thank you very much, buddy. That's greatly appreciated. I couldn't believe how fast it worked. Yeah, 3 o'clock this morning, I was like, holy shit, somebody set my feet on fire. Reached over. Work like a charm. That stuff's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. That will be something that will always be on my nightstand. Always. 15 minutes. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, it's a miracle. It is. You look at the ingredients and there's nothing that really jumps out at you. But boy, it works. Because when I got done massaging it in, I looked at the clock. And 15 minutes. Oh, excellent idea, Kathy. Excellent idea. Because they're small enough they can be hidden. You know, cell phones, that's the first thing that, an idiot would take away from someone. Not thinking about an AirTag somewhere. You got them for $2. God, what a bargain. Those things are expensive. I think 2 of them were like $98 when I looked. Because Motorola came out with AirTags. They don't call them AirTags. I can't remember what they call them. Goddamn Motorola wants like $88 for 2. I mean, they're a hell of an idea. And, for young kids, oh, my son decided to talk to me the other day. I was shocked. I looked around like, who are you talking to? Me? Across the street from my uniform clothing store, it used to be a Family Dollar. And they built a new store on 130th, and the store's been empty. Well, now it's what they call a bin store. And the guy that owns it buys Amazon and eBay returns and overstock. And I guess he's got like everything in the store that you can imagine. And my son said, really reasonable prices. So I guess I'm going to have to go down and scope it out. And then once a week, I think on Thursday, he has a 50-cent bin and a dollar bin. And some of the stuff that is in the dollar bin is priced like up to $20. He just goes through the store and goes, okay, this is today's bargain. And my son said he's got everything in that store, including washers, dryers, refrigerators. So I'm going to have to go down and check it out. Because I really would like to get a little bigger refrigerator for my bedroom. $2 Tuesday. Can't beat that. So I'm going to scope out this bin store and see what he, like my son said, you name it, he's got it. And it's all guaranteed to be in perfect working condition. Like he's got a shitload of flat screen TVs. They're all tested and working perfect. None of this pig in a poke, you buy it and you don't know if it works. So I'm going to go scope it out. I might be looking for webcams. Oh, that camera was gorgeous. I mean, really. Is it here? Yeah. Up, easy, easy. Wires going everywhere. Come on, Jesus. I mean, it's a neat looking camera. It's got an infrared lens and this kind of lens, and that. It's got all kinds of neat. And then this lights up. You have regular light, warm light, and cool light. I couldn't get it. I couldn't get the aspect ratio set. I thought maybe it was just plug and play, which it's supposed to be. But there's so many goddamn adjustments on Prism. Maybe what I'll do tomorrow is plug it in and go just directly on YouTube. But I couldn't get it to work with Prism. I just, I unplugged it and just set it aside temporarily until I can figure out what the hell's going on with it. So, viewer, I appreciate the camera, but my dumbass can't get it set up right yet. Yeah, I guess from the way he's talking, it's like an Amazon return store, which in a way it is because he buys shit out in California and has it trucked in a couple times a week. he buys from Amazon and eBay. Because he said some of the Amazon stuff was just overstock. Or, discontinued, like, a certain size flat screen TV. A lot of the smaller ones are slowly getting discontinued because people want bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Now they got, what, 110-inch? I'm like, God, that would take up the whole bedroom wall. I'd be going blind trying to watch something that big. But I'm going to go scope it out. See exactly what kind of goodies I can come up with. Although that's one of them stores where I don't go in with a wallet full of money. It's like, one of these, I'll take one of these, one of these. What do you mean $210? Well, I could get in trouble in one of them stores. And how? That's why I stay away from Harbor Freight, the adult toy store. When I go to Harbor Freight, I always have somebody go with me. And I tell them $50, $50, $50. Why? If I go over $50, stop me. Although I do want to get one of those. Now I've got a mechanic's stool. And it's on rollers, and it's got a tray underneath for tools. But it hurts my back. They make one that has a seat on it like you would find on a riding mower. I want one of them. They're like $114. I don't want to spend that kind of money, but I want one. Yeah, mechanic's roller seat. And the seat looks like something that you would see like on a John Deere riding mower. I'm like, cool. That way I could lean back and I wouldn't fall off with it. Because I almost did that with this one. Because it's just got that round, like you see in doctor's offices. Mainly like a pediatrician, where the doctor sits down on that little stool and wheels over. That's what I've got. But I have a bad habit of leaning back and going, whoop, 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 easy. Don't want to be falling off and break something. I'm trying to move back a little bit from the camera, but I have to get the microphone. Easy. the strange thing is, the colors are a little more clear. I don't know, maybe I didn't need a new camera. Maybe I have to just screw with the aspect ratio, but I couldn't get that. I plugged the camera in, I turned on Prism, and all you saw was this much of my face. And it was huge. I scared myself. I started fooling, and I'd be like, "Oh God, it's 6:30. I need to quick plug in the other camera." So, Kathy, could you buy as many air tags as you wanted, or is there like a limit? Well, you can attribute that to the holiday and immigrant drivers that think they're driving in Egypt or something. Oh, cool. So if you wanted 10 of them, you could get 10. You have to dig for them, I guess, huh? Here's two. Here's two more. I remember years ago talking to a truck driver that immigrated from Iran. And we're going back, oh, maybe 20 years ago. And he did everything right. Got his citizenship, went to the truck driving school. I mean, did it all right. He was telling me that at night on the freeways over in Iran, the trucks don't run with headlights. Matter of fact, they don't run with any lights. Because it's an insult to your manhood to turn on lights. It shows what kind of driver you really are. I was like, "You're driving down the freeway and you don't even have marker lights on?" He goes, "Nope." And they're barreling at, 80 miles an hour. He said, needless to say, they had a lot of accidents. I said, yeah, I would think so. Yeah, it was. If you turned on either your marker lights or headlights, you were considered a sissy. So they didn't turn no lights on. Oops. Although watching a lot of the videos from Pepe's Towing out in Los Angeles, it is amazing how many rollovers they have because their area is around by the dock. And, you know, they're coming out of there with shipping containers. And the idiots drive too fast. You know, they take a corner and they get on the scene and they ask the driver, how much is in that shipping container? And they pull out their cell phone and they're looking for the translator app because they don't speak no English, they don't understand no English. And these drivers are getting hired left and right because California, well, they put a halt to it. They were like giving away CDLs. Oh, here, you want one? Here, okay. Yeah, because when they load them containers overseas, they just jam all kinds of shit in them. And like this one container, when they opened it up, it was flat, finished sheets of steel. And the sheets were like 24 by 24. Like for making like computer cases or something. And the load was put dead center down the middle of the container. No blocking, no tie downs, nothing. They just loaded the pallets right down the middle. The idiot come off the freeway on an off ramp, going too fast, and the load shifted and over she went. Yeah, they don't block. They don't use tie down, nothing. They just put the cargo in. That's it. And then they're sealed. So the driver can't open the container and look and go, "Oh, I better put some tie down straps in here." No. They have no idea. Most of the time, the drivers don't even have a bill of lading. How they get out of the port without paperwork, they never have any idea what's in the trailer. I don't know. How much weight? I don't know. And when you see the freeways out there, it's just semis with shipping containers. That's all you see coming out of the port. Now, a normal driver, is going to take it easy. But these idiots are in a big hurry to get the container dropped off so they can get the next one because they're not getting paid shit. So, they take an off ramp at 80 miles an hour. And then they wonder why the fucking truck falls over. Well, which one do you prefer? It is strange. Although when you have multiple accounts, up in the corner on YouTube, you have to change the account. So it's possible on your phone, your Ronbo, and on your tablet, you opened it up under Ronald. I don't know. I can't. But hey, I'm lucky. I'm on. Doing this. I really don't know how people can watch this show on a cell phone. I would go frickin' blind. But a lot of people do it. They put their cell phone on horizontal. I could never watch YouTube. I couldn't watch anything on a cell phone. Now, my buddy's daughter, she takes the rapid downtown every day and home. Saves her for, paying extravagant parking fees. And she watches, like, Good Morning America or the Today Show or whatever on her way to work on her cell phone. Oh, I'd go blind, Kathy. I would go blind. But people do it all the time. Like my buddy's daughter said, I watch Good Morning America on the way to work on her cell phone. Her iPhone 16 Pro Max, to be precise. Now, on an iPad or a tablet, yeah. On a cell phone? No, I couldn't do it. But people do it all day. She said it's a riot. You're on the rapid. People are watching all kinds of. They're watching YouTube videos on one, and somebody else is watching music videos, and yeah, she watches Good Morning America on her way to work. Hey, whatever floats your boat, It's just not my cup of tea. Not to mention, I only use my cell phone for phone calls and text messages. That's it. I don't watch videos. I don't even really gargle stuff on my phone. That's me, though. You got to remember, I started out with a Motorola brick. You were lucky you could make or receive a phone call with them things. The brain fryers. That's what they call them, the brain fryers. Could be right. Although back in the day, I was big shit, man. Look at this. I have a cell phone. People would be like, what's a cell phone? Here, I'm going to call your house. You're calling me from that? There's no wires to it. How are you doing it? It's magic. It's the newest technology. And then you compare today's cell phones to the old Motorola brick and how antiquated that phone was. Oh, that might have been either the Motorola, or I think Samsung has got one where, yeah, you fold it open and it goes from like a cell phone to a tablet. I'm pretty sure it's Samsung. You have a regular cell phone and then it folds open. And then you have a tablet. You know, they were working on them folding displays back in the early 80s. It took them that long to perfect that folding display, which is amazing when you come down to it, because when you unfold it, there's no crease, you know, it's a big screen. Then you fold it back up. A friend of mine's son has, what the hell's, the small. It's about the size of a makeup compact. And then you open it up and it's a regular size cell phone. Or you fold it back up and it's about yai by yai. I can't remember what that Motorola, what they call it. And then you can get the Motorola that looks like a regular cell and then it opens up. But Samsung's got a really fancy one. Well, the price is pretty fancy too. Because Apple was toying around with foldable displays. And I don't know why they didn't go through with it. Because that was before Steve Jobs passed. And Steve said one day there'll be a display where you just roll it out, you know, like hear ye, hear ye. But they were toying with foldable displays shortly before he passed. But Apple, I guess, shit canned the idea. And then Motorola and Samsung finally came up with the right design or what. It's amazing. It really is. To see them fold them screens out and there not be creases or and they don't break, you know, it's not like okay, you get 500 folds and then it cracks. They're unreal. They really are. Because I remember Steve was at some conference and somebody asked if there would ever be, you know, a foldable or a rollout. And Steve kind of let the cat out of the bag. He said, well, there are our companies working on it. He didn't say Apple, but they were. But then they shit canned the idea. Of course, you know, they were making a fortune on iPads and cell phones and what the hell was that music player? iPod. God, they made a gazillion dollars on iPods. I think everybody on Earth had an iPod except Grumpy. I had a little itty bitty MP3 player. As a matter of fact, I think it's right here. Let me look. I don't know if it's in this case or not. Nope, not that case. I have it in a case. They're here somewhere. Somewhere. One of these days I gotta organize this rack over here. All right, where are they? I had them here. What's this? Yep, that's not it. What's this? Yep, that's not it. There it is. Hang on, let me put all this shit back now. Oh, I know what that is. Oh, come on, get back in there. I have to put stuff in here strategically. Oh. The bigger box first, idiot. Okay. Then this. And then this and this goes over here. Oh, there's that. Okay, I found something I've been looking for. Yeah. There. There's Grumpy's MP3 player. A Kobe. I got a shitload of songs in this thing. One of these days I'll have to play it, listen to it, see what. Can't remember how it opens. Don't break it, idiot. I know it opens. I thought it opened. I can't remember how to open the back end of it. Oh, duh. USB plug in, recharge it, download music. Wonder if it's still charged. Nope, it's dead. I think I've got like 200 songs in this little thing. It was amazing. One of the things I actually still kept the instruction book. Well, it is a battery cover. I can't figure out how to get the thing open. God, the last thing I need is dead batteries. Not so much dead batteries, but leaking acid batteries. Oh, man. Holy shit. Good thing I opened it. This battery is just starting to leak. Wow. Holy Christ. This thing would have gotten ruined. Luckily, there's no battery acid on the contacts. Oh, man. The battery is just starting to have a little acid coming out of it. In the garbage. Good thing I decided to look. Just happen to have a fresh battery. Let's pop it in and make sure we're working. It must be a dead battery. Now, why would I have dead batteries? All right, let's try this one. Hmm. I'm putting the battery in the right way. Let me try again here. Okay, plus goes with plus. All right. Battery installed. It ain't working. Uh-oh. It's not working. Maybe I can't remember how to turn it on. Let me, here, let's see here. Menu, volume. I hate instructions where they don't tell you how to turn it on. I can't remember how to turn it on. Menu, volume up, volume down, previous, reverse, next, forward, play, pause, stop. 7, hold switch. USB cap, battery cover. Can't remember how to turn it on. Maybe you have to have the battery cover on in order to turn it on. Now I can't remember how to put the battery cover back on. Okay, battery cover on. Whoa, I was pushing the wrong button. It does work. I'm going to have to listen to see what song. I can't remember what songs were in here. It works. It works. I caught it before the acid ate the connection. I'm going to have to play with this now. I think it holds, I'm pretty sure, 200 songs. Because I remember I used to, oh man, I used to listen to the thing all the time. Because the unbelievable thing is the volume. Not so much the volume, the clarity of the music that comes out of this little tiny thing. Although I did have very expensive earbuds. Well, not earbuds. You know, the old wired earbuds. I wonder if they're still in the box. I forgot to look. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm going to listen to this tomorrow. Because I remember when I bought this. It was an upgrade. Yeah, this one was an upgrade from what I had. I can't find those. Uh, Another case. Let me look. Ah, here we go. Here is my original MP3 player. There's my original. And I was so impressed, I bought the bigger one. This has got a memory card. Oh my God. Yeah, there's my. Okay, now. You go from that one. Now, that one held 50 songs. This one held 100. And the Kobe held 200. There's all three of my MP3 players. There they are, all three. My three MP3 players. I'll never forget my buddy's granddaughter had one of those. And I asked him, I said, what is she playing with? And he said, well, that's her music player. And I was that little and I put the earbuds in. I was like, holy Christ, these are unbelievable. Where did you get it? He went, Walmart. So I went up to Walmart and I bought one. And then I bought the second one. And then I bought the third one. And by then, you were getting music on your cell phone. And who needed an MP3 player anymore? I'll have to put those in Grumpy's museum, along with the VHS video cameras. Who's doing the vulture history? Is that you, Ron? I missed. Damn it! I should have been paying attention because right now all I've got is because it means frozen carcasses. So whatever you had before the frozen carcasses, I missed. But that's some interesting. I didn't know that. So vultures migrate. I never knew that. Interesting. Get a little history lesson today. I was watching a documentary on the one zoo in California that their specialty is hatching and hand raising California condors. And when they get to be a certain age, they don't want them bonding with humans. So they actually have a condor costume that they put on. And that way, when they hand feed the babies see this. Wow, Mom, you got a big head. Yeah, they actually put on a costume that looks like a condor. And they hatch them and they hand raise them. And then when they get to a certain age, they release them to keep the condor population going. Man, them suckers have a 8 to 10 foot wingspan. Them birds are huge. No, it's the old camera. I couldn't get the new one to work. I got to set aspect ratios and parameters. And then when I hooked up the old camera, I had to reset everything, so everything looks screwy. I have to do some more work on getting. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we got turkey vultures here. They nest along the lakefront. My sister sees them all the time because she lives up in Vermilion on the lake. And she sees them goddamn turkey vultures all the time. That same thing out in Hinckley, in the park out there, they have a vulture watch when they return every year, or whatever. Vultures, condor. I can't remember what bird, but they have a big to do about it out there. We have a lot of peregrine falcons in this area too. Matter of fact, during the summer, you'll see them circling, looking for some little critter to eat. Plus, they nest downtown in the high-rise buildings because they have cameras, and when they lay their eggs, then it's a big thing. The news stations every day they come on, they go, "Whoop, they haven't hatched yet," you know. Yeah, the buzzards. When the buzzards return to Hinckley, there's a big park, and the buzzards come back every year on a certain day, and they have a big parade and all kinds of People watching for the buzzard. Oh, here, I see one. Yeah, they have Buzzard Day out in Hinckley. They even have a special song that they sing. I could not see me going out there singing a special song for the buzzards. But they have a big thing. Oh, like I say, they have a parade and buzzard watch. A couple thousand people with binoculars going, I don't see it. Oh, I think that, nope, that's not one. Nope, that's not it. Be my luck, I'd be looking up in a buzzard and shit my binoculars thinking, oh man. Yeah, Ron, they nest. They built nesting boxes and they put them up in, I can't remember which buildings downtown. And then they have cameras in the nesting boxes. And every day the news stations, well, we have 3 eggs now, 4 eggs now. And then when they hatch, yeah. Yeah, downtown has got a lot of peregrines nesting down there. A lot. But every now and then you see them flying around here, looking for somebody's stray cat. Plus, when the parents, once the little ones get to be a certain age, the Ohio Department of Natural Resource, they go in and they ban them. And they kind of keep track of them. Like if somebody finds one injured, they're like, oh, okay, this one was born such and such date on the BP building or. Take them to the garbage can. Now, last night, the red really looks cool. And tonight it's all washed out because I had the green in the corner and the red coming down the middle and the blue over. It's everything. I hadn't realized when I unplugged the camera, the settings weren't saved. Although that probably is in Prism Plus. Yeah, I unplugged the camera and it blew all the settings away, and I didn't write anything down because I didn't think I'd need them. And then I plugged the camera back in. 6:30, I'm panicking, trying to get the screen back. So tomorrow I have to go through that software for that new camera and try to figure. I really like to use that new one, but it's not plug and play like it said. Yeah, maybe the green light is a little too close. Let me move it out a little bit. No, no, I'm getting the green on the side of my head. Everything's all screwed up. I don't know why this red is so washed out, though. It looked cool last night. Like I told Kathy, I says, well, I'm still adjusting. Yeah, I adjusted all right. I screwed everything up. Should leave well enough alone. Although, like I say, that camera is supposed to be top notch. I should have known when I saw the manual, 57 pages. But I think what I'm going to do tomorrow, instead of Prism, I'm going to go direct on YouTube and see if that new camera is actually plug and play on YouTube, because it definitely wasn't plug and play on Prism. Not at all. Of course, I shouldn't have waited until 6 o'clock to start screwing around with stuff. Although the camera didn't get here till 4. At least we made it to airtime with no problem. It don't look too bad. It's not great, but it don't look too bad. Although the Festivus pole looks a little better tonight than it did last night, but I should know better than to wait till 6 o'clock. You know, I said, oh, I got plenty of time. Plug the camera in, everything will be great. I was like, oh no. Then I plugged the old camera in and it was all fucked up. I was like, oh God. I'm watching the clock going, oh Jesus. When I got something halfway decent, I left it. Although I wish I could find them that AI camera. I don't know what I did with that thing. Yeah, my lightsaber. I gotta get the other one. I got two. That way I could put one over here and have dueling lightsabers. Actually, the top of the terminal tower and the top of the BP building look good. That's the way they actually look downtown at night. Well, not now because they've got them with colors. They do the top of the terminal tower in Christmas colors. And every night they change the pattern. It looks cool. I can't remember if they liked. I think they liked the top of the BP building and they liked the top of the key tower. Although usually the key tower is white. But I'll have to check and see if they do red and green for Christmas. But usually, get your head out of the way. Usually at night downtown, that's the way it's lit with just white light. I don't call it Tower City. To me, it's still the terminal tower. Which my grandfather actually helped build. Somewhere I hope I didn't lose them. I actually have pictures of him and a bunch of guys sitting on an I-beam, hanging out in the middle of nowhere, eating lunch. Talk about people that had nerves of steel. I mean, they're like 40, 50 stories up, sitting on a beam, having lunch. Because the company that my grandfather worked for, whoever owned the metal fabricating company or whatever, they hired a photographer. And like every so many floors, he took pictures. Because my grandfather's got pictures of it going up and up and up and up. But seeing that photograph of all those guys, and the beam is just sticking out there. And they're just sitting like they were down on the ground. Not for me. Although they're not allowed to do that anymore. But back, back in the 20s, 30s, that was normal. And that was the day before, OSHA and all that bullshit. No safety nets, nothing. And just sitting there on that beam, 20, 30 stories up, looking down at the pavement, going, oh, you dropped your banana there, buddy. Watch out, falling banana. Oh, I knew there was something here. Oh. I got my fancy light today. Come on, out of the box. Out of the box. Come on. Come on. Look how thin that thing is. That's the light that's going on the hood. Look how thin. It's unbelievable, and it weighs like next to nothing. But boy, is it bright. I'm going to have to make sure this sucker is aimed at the pavement because this thing will blind somebody. But that's my 20-inch amber LED lamp that's going on the hood of the Passat. Okay, back in the plastic. Back in the plastic. Keep it protected until I put it on. Back in the box. And put the brackets back so we don't lose them. Yeah, this thing was on a Black Friday sale. $15. Regularly $89.99 for this thing. $15 Black Friday. This is the kind of light you need on your F-150, Kathy, for driving the roads in God's country. It would light that road up like a sun. That's it for the coffee. Till tomorrow. I'm surprised you don't have LED lights on your truck. Because them roads got to be dark as hell at night down there. I would have 10,000 frickin'. I'd have them mounted on the roof, on the hood, bumpers. Although my 12-inch green light bar, I'm going to have to readjust it tomorrow because people were flashing their lights at me like, hey. So I thought I had it aimed down enough. Evidently, I don't. Holy shit, you got nerves of steel. Driving them back roads and you don't even turn on your high beams? Wow. I'd have more goddamn LEDs on the front of that truck. Although, see, the reason I bought that one and I got it in yellow is because at night, when it's snowing, that really lights up the street. Because if you use white, it reflects off the snow. So the yellow cuts through the snow. People don't realize why fog lights were yellow. Because they cut through the snow, they cut through the rain. God, you look at the cars from the 20s and 30s, they always had big fog lights on the front of them. That's mainly why they call them fog lights, because they cut through the fog. They cut through the snow, they cut through the rain. I've always had yellow fog lights on all of my. I got them on the shit box. I had them on the RAV4. God, I've had fog lights on my cars since the 70s. That's why they have yellow sunglasses, because you wear them at night and they actually brighten. You can see better. I have a pair on my dresser. If I go driving at night, I wear my yellow sunglasses because they're almost like night vision. Because everybody always asks me, how come you got smoke tinted sunglasses and you have yellow? Well, the smoke tinted ones are for during the day and the yellow ones are for at night. They look at me like I have two heads. What? Buy yourself a pair and try it. But man, that's amazing, Kathy, that you don't even use your high beams down there. You're out in God's country. Street lights are like 10 miles apart. Usually, the only place they have a street light is like an intersection. And that singular flashing red light. Bink, 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 bink. You look down the road and go, up, 4-way stop ahead. You're out there in God's country where they don't even have crossing gates for the railroad. All it is a sign. Railroad. Remember the signs? They were mainly stop signs, but they also used them for railroad. And they had all them little glass reflectors in them before they came up with reflective tape. The signs had little glass beads. And your headlights had hit them and they light up. Boy, what I wouldn't give to have one of them antiques today. That's like, I got a good laugh. I was watching Lore Farms, and there was a farmer that basically passed away, and they had a big sale at the farm. And they're walking through the different outbuildings, and Laura picks up a glass insulator, and she goes, God, there must be 50 of these in a box. I don't know what the hell, what they use these for. And the guy had them, he had a box full of those old glass insulators from back in the day for the electric lines. She had no idea what they were. She picked up and go, I don't know what the hell they'd use this for. I would have told her, buy that box full. Buy it. Those are collector's items. And she grew up out on a farm in the country. You'd think she would have known what those insulators were. She picked up, I don't know, what the. There was a fortune in that box because she told her husband, she goes, look, there's about 50 of these in here. I don't know what you use these for on a farm. I'm thinking, like, God, you could get a couple $100 a piece for them. Buy that box. I think every farmer had, I remember my uncle had a bunch of them in the barn. But by the time we realized that those would be collector's items, the farm was all torn down and probably got plowed under. Because I think the electric company at one time gave them to farmers in case they were going to like run electricity to their barns or something. Do you really? Oh my God. One. I won't be greedy. One. Unbelievable. You don't see them around up here at all. And like I say, by the time we realized that they were collector's items, I would just one. I don't care what color it is, white, green, blue, one. Because I got a good laugh when she picked it up and she held it to the camera. And I don't know what the hell they'd use one. And then she called her, hey, Grant, you know what these are for? He was like, I don't know. And she put it back in the box, and I was like, holy shit. Those are worth money, girl. And both of them grew up in the country on farms. They had to know what those insulators were used for. She reached down to that box and went, hey, Grant, you have any idea what you use these for? And her husband, no. Oh, there's about 50 of them in this box. I almost fell out of the chair. Because you know how many times I have gone to barn sales looking for shit like that and never found any? And I'm thinking, my uncle had a shitload of them in his barn. Although I have seen videos like out in Montana and Idaho and that every now and then on a back road you will see light poles with insulators on the old glass insulators, and you know that those are from back in the 30s, 40s, 50s. Like I say, by the time I realized that they were a bit of a collector's item, my uncle's farm was torn down and bulldozed, and knowing my cousins, they probably just went, tear the barn down, bulldoze it under, and just one. Just one. That's all I want. One. Now, you know what's going to happen, Kathy? You're going to be looking for them and you'll never see another one. That's my fucking luck. you, you'll be at a flea market going, I need a glass insulator for Grumpy. God damn. They used to have them. I have a CD by him. Oh, you're having Meatloaf. I thought you were talking about Meatloaf. Matter of fact, I have 3 or 4 CDs. Yeah, I need a crock. A year ago, they were everywhere. Now that you're trying to find me a little crock for my bacon grease, they don't exist. It'll be the same thing with the electric insulators. You'll be like, damn, last year there were hundreds of them things. Now there isn't one to be found. That's my luck, Kathy. I'll tell you what, to this day, I could kill my son's female friend. Oh God, this is spoiled. And then I'm putting shit back in the fridge, when I got here. And I'm like, where's my crock with my bacon grease? Oh, I threw it in the garbage. You what? And at that point, I could not set foot on that property because it was the end of my 30 days and the landlord had come in and changed the locks on the door and I was banned from entering them premises. So I couldn't go dig through the garbage. And then garbage day, I had a goddamn doctor's appointment. And usually the garbage people didn't come around until noon. Well, as I'm leaving to go to my appointment at 8 o'clock, here's the garbage truck. I'm like, oh no. And my little crock ended up in a landfill. Oh, I was so goddamn mad. I would like putting the stuff away, or got the other cooler, okay, here's the frozen food, or got the last cooler, and what happened to my little crock? She was a crock. That little container that had bacon grease in it. It was black on the bottom. It had a little white rim. Oh, that thing with that spoiled stuff in it. I threw it away. Oh, Kathy, had I not gone to prison for life, I just strangled the shit out of her. I said, you got a lot of nerve just throwing something away. You didn't ask, like, is this spoiled? Do we want to keep this? No, we just went in the garbage can. Ugh, look at it's all, ugh. It wasn't spoiled. It was white bacon grease. A year's worth. All different types of bacon. Blended. And that crock was my grandmother's. I don't know what pissed me off more, throwing away my year's worth of bacon grease or throwing away my grandmother's crock. Because it was a cute little thing. It probably held like maybe 2 cups. I think 2 cups. I think that's what it held. And it was black ceramic, on the bottom, and then on the top it had like a white ceramic band. It was the cutest looking little thing. Ugh. If I was helping somebody and they said, Grumpy, empty the refrigerator for me, I would not think of throwing anything away without asking. Oh, is this spoiled? Oh, no. That's sourdough bread starter. Oh, okay. No, she just took it out and went, ugh. Evidently, he doesn't clean his refrigerator. Oh. That was 6, 7 years ago. And every time I think about it, my fucking blood pressure goes up. Because you don't find that shit around here. Even, when I went to barn sales and that, trying to replace it. No, I'm still trying to replace it. And they've all vanished. I can see this spring. Kathy, you're going to go to a couple of sales and go, do you have any of them glass insulator things? No? Okay. Haven't seen them in years. Yeah. My luck. That'll be two things, Kathy, that you will never see again. Little Crocs and glass insulators. I bet you there were some in that barn that burned down. I remember every when I would go down to the Toth farm where the twins were. Charlie had a shitload of them up in the loft. I mean, he had them. My uncle had them. The farmer down the road had them. Everybody had them insulators. But see, people that know what they are know that they are collectible. And then they take them home and they clean them up and they put them on eBay and they ask $100 a piece for them. God, what did I see on eBay recently? Oh, cigarette machine. A guy wanted $5,000 for an old cigarette machine. I'm like, that thing didn't cost that much brand new. And he specified with keys. Cigarette machine with keys. $5,000. And there's probably some idiot that paid that wanted it for his basement man cave. There were a couple other oddball. Oh, pencil dispensing machines. You could go like in a drugstore, and for a penny, you could get a pencil. I never knew there was such a thing. A pencil dispensing machine. 1 cent. Put your penny in, pull the lever, and a pencil falls out. Although, I'm sure there was all kinds of shit like that back in the day. Pencil dispensers, pen dispensers, probably had eraser dispensers. Yeah, I think the guy wanted $500 for it. A pencil dispensing machine. And he said, it works. And you drop a penny in, and you pull a lever, and the pencil dropped in the bottom of the machine. Look, I have a pencil. Like kids on their way to school going, oh shit, I forgot my pencil. Anybody got a penny? Yeah. Oh. Oh yeah, gum dispensers too. Yeah, like I say, if you could dispense it in a machine, you could buy it. Pens, pencils, erasers, gum, aspirin. Remember when aspirin, you'd get like 4 aspirin or 6 aspirin in a little tin? I know they had aspirin dispensers because they used to have them in the West Side Market. And you got a little tin, and I think there were like 6 aspirin in that little tiny tin. And boy, can you imagine how much those little tins would be worth today? That little itty bitty metal tin. But like I say, as soon as those insulators became collector's items, people went to every barn sale, every garage sale, flea market. They bought them for a couple of bucks, took them home, cleaned them all up, put them on eBay, $100 a piece. And people that collect them bought them. Because there was something about the colors. Because you had like dark blue, light blue, dark green, light. There was something about the colors too. Because they were always different colors. I don't know, maybe the glass foundry was making green ones that month. I don't know. Because the wire would go. Now, it didn't wrap around. The wire was laid in the groove in the insulator. Then they took a small piece of wire and came around the back and twisted it. And it just held the wire against the insulator. Yeah, but those are newer. You want the glass. Yeah, the brown ones are like 70s, 50s, 60s, or 70s. The glass ones are from like the 20s, 30s, 40s. Because the brown ones are ceramic. Because you can still buy them today, the ceramic ones. It's the glass ones that you can just about see through. And they're threaded on the inside because they screw down on a peg. I know a lot about them. You think I'd have one? No. Well, I went up and I got some barbecue chicken loaf today. It looked delicious. I guess we're going to find out when I make a sandwich tonight. With my nice fresh Schwabel's Jewish rye. We know where, right here. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. Kathy, you now have a new mission. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Take care. And we will meet again tomorrow night.